tomato is a small type of round tomato believed to be an intermediate genetic admixture. Welcome to the Ghanaian Farmer. My name is Enyonam, and today we are all the way in Ketu North in the Tadjevu community. We visited the biggest vegetable exporter here in Ghana. The farm is called Mephiles Trust Ghana Limited. Our focus for today's interview is on cherry tomato. Of course, we have a lot of tomato variety here. Close to 24 types or 24 variety of tomatoes cultivated here in Mephiles Trust Ghana Limited. Standing next to me is Matthew Nang. He is in charge of the greenhouses in this farm, and he's also a specialist in agri-economics and farm management. Coming up is a profile on cherry tomato. When I come back, we'll delve into cultivation and all that you need to know about cherry tomato. Stay tuned. Cherry tomatoes are normally much sweeter than large tomatoes. The size and color of cherry tomatoes have a wide range as there are hundreds of different varieties. The perfect cherry tomatoes could be first and foremost in season. It must be almost firm, thin, and smooth skinned. The cherry tomato flavor will be a fine balance of sweet and tart. Like all tomatoes, the classification of cherry tomatoes based on how they grow as their plant generates in two different forms. They are determinant of indeterminate. Determinate types grow on bush-like plants with all sorts of vines and bear just one crop per season, though indeterminate varieties are long-sprouting vine plants that bear fruit continuously through the season. Thanks for joining us once again. This is the Ghanaian Farmer. My name is Enyonam, and standing next to me now is Matthew. Matthew, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. You are most welcome to Mephiles Trust Ghana Limited. We are very happy you are here with us. We are doing our best. This is, I can say, one of the best farms in Ghana.
Yes, that we are aware of. Now let's begin with cherry tomato. Because we know tomato to be big, round, reddish, yellow or green. But the one I'm seeing here is pretty small. When somebody hears the word cherry tomato, what type of variety of tomato are we talking about?
Yes, cherry tomatoes, like as the name suggests, cherry and then tomatoes. Cherry probably it just means small or miniature of the normal tomatoes. So what we are seeing here, we have the pointed type of cherry tomatoes, and there are a lot of varieties in terms of cherry tomatoes, and then it is very wonderful in terms of a whole lot of things, nutrition wise, health wise, and then economic wise, it's very, very, very good.
Okay. Now, the first difference between cherry tomato and a regular tomato has to do with the size.
Yes.
Aside that, the sugar and acidic level in cherry tomato is higher compared to the regular tomato. Now, let's talk about the kind of environment or space that one can cultivate cherry tomato. Because I see you are cultivating it under a greenhouse. Is that the only recommended space or environment you can cultivate cherry tomato?
All right, thank you very much. Cherry tomatoes or other tomatoes variety, in particular the cherry tomatoes, you can do it in the open field as well. But productive wise, it may not do well in the open field as compared to the greenhouse. In the sense that this is a variety or a type of tomatoes that is very sensitive to a lot of environmental factors, such as pests and diseases, such as sunlight, radiations, and then even the comparing the type of water, the quality of water you are using. It is best you cultivate it in the greenhouse.
Yes. All right. What kind of media or soil do you use in planting cherry tomato?
All right. For the greenhouse in particular, it's a controlled environment.
Okay.
That is the first point in terms of greenhouse production. It's a
Okay.
controlled environment. You control whatever the nutrient you are giving. You control the sunlight. You control the carbon dioxide. You control humidity. You control temperature. Everything is being under control in the greenhouse. So on the first point, there are a lot of the medium we are using here.
Yes.
It's mainly cocoa peats and then compost that we mix together.
Cocoa peats and compost.
We mix together
Okay.
for our planting medium.
Okay.
We use cocoa peat, not any other medium or not soil, because of the porosity, the drainage, and the other physical properties that come with the compost.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now, before you start planting, or before you even see the fruit, what is the process? Because I know tomatoes and pepper, you do the nursery, transplanting, and all that. Is it the same procedure with greenhouse style of farming?
Yes, it's the same procedure. Probably you seed it on the seed trays, or in the open field, probably you do it on the nursery beds.
Okay.
But in the greenhouse, it's best done on the seed trays.
So you still do nursery?
Yes, we still
before
do.
you transplant to this place?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. How long does the nursery take?
The nursery, within 2 weeks to 3 weeks,
The nursery is ready.
it's ready.
Okay, to be moved to the main
Yes.
structure.
Yes.
Okay.
To the greenhouse.
All right. How many capacity or quantity of cherry tomatoes plant am I seeing in this space?
For us, we are using 700 plants population in our greenhouses.
700 plant
Yes.
population.
Yes.
Okay. Now, the space in between the plastic bags containing the cocoa peats, should there be a space, or you can just pack them and there will not be any problem?
There should be a space. You cannot pack them together, or maybe the arrangement, because here we are using plant population. We are intra plant distance. We are using 20 centimeters, and then the inter plant population we are using 80 centimeters. So sometimes you consider in terms of the quantity, in as much as you are looking at production, you are looking at the quantity, you are looking at the quality too. So you must
Create
balance
some
it.
space.
Yes, some space
Okay.
for it.
All right.
Yes.
The seeds you use for production, are they produced here in Ghana or it is imported?
Most of the seeds we are using here are hybrid seeds.
Are
And
they
then, you
imported?
know, for Ghana, we are hybrid seeds. Most of them are imported seeds
Okay.
we are using.
How much, or how is it, what is it called, these seeds? The variety, the kind of variety you plant here.
Okay, for this one we call it rondo.
Rondo.
Yeah, this is a rondo variety.
Okay.
We have other variety like tomato. Yeah,
All
it
right.
is also the same.
Okay. I also see that you have a drip irrigation system that you use to water the crops. How often do you open these taps for the plant to receive water?
For irrigation is one of the key issues or success in greenhouse production. Whatever we put here, probably if your irrigation is improper, you will not get the needed yield, you will not get the needed quality.
Yeah,
so
so-
for us, what we do here depend on, because this, and then it depend on the stage of the plant. When it is young, 2 days interval is valid for it.
When it is young,
When it is young,
every 2 days,
yes,
you have to water it.
You have to water it.
Okay.
But at this stage, every day, even you have to water it twice a day, because of the fruit. It consumes a lot of water
Okay.
at the moment.
Okay.
At this stage.
All right. So
Yes.
how long does it take after you transplant the 3rd week or 2nd week? How long does it take for me to start seeing the plant producing the fruit?
Okay. So for this our variety, it takes 8 months, approximately 8 weeks approximately. That is 2 months.
2 months.
Yes, before you see fruit set.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now, in this temperature, does it mean that you are not prone to diseases?
Yes. At this level, this temperature, and then as I said, everything here is under control, climatic condition. So what we do, we also have our temperature control mechanism that we do. Extreme temperature is no good. Either low or too high temperature is not ideal. If it is too much.
What's the recommended temperature for such plantations?
So for cherry or
cherry,
okay, for cherry it can sustain within 20 degrees to 30 degrees.
Okay.
It can do well.
Okay.
But extreme of it, 30 above, it will affect it.
All right. So before and during production of stage fruits, how often do you do your pruning? Because I see that some of the crops have been cut here and there. How often should I do pruning in my greenhouse farm?
Yes, for this variety, it's a vigorous type of variety.
Okay.
And cherries in general, they grow very quickly.
Okay.
So what 3 days interval?
Every 3 days.
Every 3 days.
I should do my pruning.
Yeah, you have to do your
Is it
pruning.
before harvest or after harvest?
For when they are young, it's a side shoot you take.
Okay.
But when they are grown up like this, for instance, this one they are ripe. So what you do is you harvest and take out whatever thing you need to take out for the next harvest, or to allow erosion and other things for continued fruition.
All right, now let's talk about pollination before we talk about even harvesting. I know in the open field, thanks to the insect moving or jumping from one plant to the other, you are able to do the pollination for you. But in a greenhouse, how do you guys go about the pollination? I remember a farmer told me, I take toothbrush to shake here, come and shake here. How is the pollination in greenhouses?
Yes, that is a common practice in terms of pollination in greenhouse, where people use brushes. Yes,
okay.
Some people, we also have something we call the pollination brush.
All right.
But probably if you cannot afford it, you probably use any brush you can use.
Okay.
But the efficiency of it is what we are always questioning about.
Okay.
So what we here, we do not necessarily use the brushing method for our pollination. We use a special type of hormones, and when we spray it with either handheld sprayer or the knapsack sprayer, that is automatically our fruit set comes.
All right. Interesting way of pollinating your crops in greenhouses. Now let's talk about harvesting now. When the crop is finally matured and ripe after 8 weeks, how many times do you harvest?
For the harvesting depends on the market, but for now where we are supplying to, we harvest it once a week.
Once a week?
When it is fully
ripe.
Yes.
Okay, once a week.
Yeah, once
and
a
how long can I harvest for before I change over and plant new plant?
For this one, as long as for greenhouse, that's one advantage.
Okay.
It can grow as long as you want it. Even a whole year, the plant will be there. But for us, from 5 to 8 months, normally we
change over.
Yeah, we start changing them.
Okay.
Yes.
Now let's talk about the cocoa pits in the plastic bags. At the end of the 8 months, that you remove the whole thing and replant new ones. Do you also change the entire cocoa pit to new ones?
No, for us, because depend on the practices you are doing.
Okay.
Because for our practices here, pests and diseases is one of the key things probably that would let you change the medium here.
Right. Okay.
But for us, since we started production, normally we do it after the third production cycle.
Okay.
That we change the medium.
Okay. All right. So after 24 months, then you change the entire cocoa pit to start all over again.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now you mentioned water, the type of water to actually irrigate the plant. Water is water, and I see you have a lot of dams around. Can't I use the dam water or even rainwater?
All right, you have mentioned something that is very good.
Okay.
Rainwater, it is the best, but how to tap it for irrigation is difficult.
Okay.
Yes, especially in a greenhouse like this.
Right.
It's difficult tapping rainwater, but it could have been the best water for greenhouse production.
Okay.
On streams, dams, sea water, some of those water normally they contain high salts. So when you start using it in the greenhouse, the plants wouldn't respond to the irrigation, the water you are giving it. You give it water, but still you will not see any changes. And even sometimes that's where probably the plant will not be growing very well.
Okay.
Because we know what salt does to the plant.
Right.
It absorbs the nutrient, it absorbs the water. The plant does not have access to the water that you are giving to it. So if you use a dam water, it means you have to treat it before.
You can use to irrigate the
Yes.
crops. Okay.
But we are using underground water,
Right.
a borehole that we dug, and then there's a pump, and that is, and even with that, you have to test the quality if it is compactable. If it's not of purpose in greenhouse use, then you have to pump inside the poly tank and treat it. What we are always looking at is the EC and the pH of the water,
Okay.
which are very important.
Very important.
Yes.
Okay.
So these are the things that will determine your fertigation, your irrigation of the greenhouse or your crops. Yes.
Meflis is accredited to be the biggest vegetable exporter in this country. I know with markets, the market is there. Now you have over 24 varieties of tomatoes here. Between cherry tomato and the regular tomato, which one is in higher demand in the market? Because of course, as an aspiring farmer or anybody watching us from Ghana and around the globe who might want to go into tomato farming, between these two, which one has more markets?
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
For cherry tomatoes and then the
regular
normal tomato that we all know,
yes,
or we see in the market.
Yes.
That is why even the cherry tomatoes, hardly will you find it in the market places because of the demand. And then in terms of this is very profitable than the normal tomatoes. In terms of cost of production,
right,
in terms of demand, in terms of even the how much you sell.
Right.
This one has more market, has more money than the normal tomatoes.
I see.
Yes.
That's an interesting revelation made by Matthew Nang. He is in charge of the 40-unit greenhouses we have here in Meflis Trust Ghana Limited, seated on 1,900 acres of land in Tajevu, and the district or the region we find ourselves now is Ketu North in Ghana. My name is Enyonam, and this is the Ghanaian Farmer. Our focus today was all about cherry tomato. Of course, if you are thinking of going into tomato farming, you want to think about greenhouse, you want to consider cherry tomato. Compare the two profits, investment, everything that goes into the regular tomato versus the cherry tomato, and make a decision. Get interactive on our social media platform on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, The Ghanaian Farmer. Make sure to catch this episode live Mondays on Joy Prime Television at 1:30 prompt. Many thanks to our proud partner for sponsoring this program, Lizzie and Leaf Tomato Mix, and of course many thanks to Rwand Air for sponsoring the African tour that is about to happen pretty soon. If you are a farmer, you are an agro processor, you want to go into farming, you want to explore Africa and know what others are doing, you should join this trip. Yes, you should join this trip. Very soon we'll be putting the advert out there, the package, so that you can register and join us for this trip. Meet investors, meet other farmers, learn about what is new, what is trending in the world of agriculture. We're caught up with an expert in the line of tomato farming, and of course to share some statistics with regards to tomato production in Ghana, revenue generation in terms of tomato farming in Ghana, and of course the lapses, the challenges. What can we do to promote the sector? This is what he has to say.
Cherry tomatoes, you know, is a unique, I call it beautiful woman, which attracts a lot of insects, pests, and all those things. And then it's a unique among the tomatoes variety we normally grow. And how they even eat it, they need it meat because people eat it raw, and then they just take it, and then people take it. When you go to Europe, people use it to drink wine with it. So the adoption of that strategy is that you can get it fresh to use, which look unique, and then it even attract to insects. You know, pests normally worry it a lot, especially when it's red or yellow. It's very attractive to pests. So if you even leave it for long to see, that's why when it ripe, you can see how beautiful it look like, very nice and neat. So basically we protect it so that people can enjoy it at the right time, and that's the concept people use to. Because when you go to Israel, there's a time people go there purposely to just go and pluck it, pay for it, and just enjoy it fresh like that. Small, because Ghana, we don't consume much vegetable. We don't respect that cherry tomatoes. As I'm talking to you, people don't even know what they use it for. They eat salad, but they don't know that they use a lot of cherry for salad. Cherry, we don't export cherry. We rather import cherry. If you check most of the mall, most of those crops, cherry tomato, the yellow and then the red one, even there's a mixed color too, if you have the seed. We import them mostly in the shop we have across the country. If we are looking at it to encourage most of the youth, like the greenhouses which they have available, because you can't grow them in open field. So if those greenhouses are available, I think we want to train some youth in Dowenya, but that project is for government. So we are engaging them to see how best we can able to let some of the youth grow this product, because this market is there. Then in terms of the pricing is high. Just yesterday I was in Vakpo. There's some greenhouse end cap build. You'll be amazed that when you go there, greenhouse, everything have wiped up, and then we are trying as a company to pick it up and train some youth to let them grow those produce. So we are engaging the ministry strongly to see how best we can able to stop importing those produce, and then third, people that operate the shop industry, a vegetable industry, to know that we can grow those produce in Ghana, so that we shouldn't be chasing the dollar and the cedi. You see the status of the country now in terms of how the cedi and the dollar are having a whole lot of challenges, so that we can able to produce and feed those supermarkets to supply even globally if there's a need for export.
I just want to say thank you and so much. Appreciative of your support for us for 2 years of being on television and promoting agriculture in Ghana. My name is Anyonam. Until then, it's a bye for now.